you had an ayahuasca experience, and frankly, a lot of people that I respect a great deal actually did that. So, could you describe that a little bit more? Like, what is ayahuasca, and what did it do for you?
I saw the same thing. I saw a lot of successful people talk about ayahuasca, so I was intrigued by checking it out. And I had a super transformational experience at ayahuasca. What is ayahuasca? I mean, they say it's like it's the mother of the universe, really. And you're going there to like get some crazy answers. And they say you're supposed to go there with a question that you want to have answered from the whole trip. But I mean, I can share my experience with it because I had just gotten out of my previous business, so I didn't really know what to do next. And I really had an insane transformational experience with ayahuasca. The first day, I had the most insane thing happen to me. And then when I woke up the next day, I was like, holy shit, I got to write this down because this is batshit crazy. And for the next like 4 hours, I wrote this blog post about what happened that day. That way I could be ready for the next day because it's 4 days in a row of ayahuasca that we did. And when I finished writing that post, I was like, man, this is the sickest thing I've ever written. I was so like proud of it. And I posted it and then went off to day two. And then day two experience was like even crazier, like batshit crazier. And then I woke up the next day again, and I was like, I got to write this down. But when I finished writing, I was like, this is too fucking out there. You know, this is too woo woo. This is too weird. I can't fucking post this. My mom's going to freak the fuck out. I can't like talk about this. So I had this done, but I was like, I really felt like I just couldn't talk about it. And then I was talking with this other guy there, and I shared a little experience with him, and he loved it so much. And it just made me realize, you know what? There's like not enough content like this out on the internet anyway. And it was like, a lot of ayahuasca is about finding your true self at all costs. So going down all the darkest roads at all costs to find out who you really are. And I was like, you know what, dude, I'm just going to be myself at all costs. And I don't really care what anybody else thinks anymore. So I made this post. I posted it day two. And then suddenly all the strings on my back just got cut. I didn't even realize how much like was holding me back in terms of like being my authentic self because I was cared so much about what people thought. And if I could post this post, I could post anything. I could talk about anything. So that was kind of it. So the first thing that I got from ayahuasca was like just this freedom to do me at all costs. Like I just don't care anymore. And I'm just gonna like I dress up like a wizard now because of ayahuasca, what it did to me all the time. So I dress up weird, I do weird stuff because that's super fun for me. And I really don't, and I do it at all costs. I'm not afraid of the consequences of being myself, my true self. And that was the first thing. The second thing that it did was it awoke my writing chops. I didn't even realize it, but ayahuasca was getting me back into my creative writing abilities through these crazy stories that had happened. And it kickstarted my whole blog. And writing was the craft that I used to do. And then I got out of it because I hired a copywriter and I would have him write for me. So after 2 years of having a copywriter write everything for me, I just thought I didn't have my writing abilities anymore. So I kind of lost it. And it was like a dead skill set that I had. It was like a dead skill set, and ayahuasca revamped that. And it was the greatest thing ever because now I got chops and now I'm writing the Mind Valley via cells, which is so cool. So absolutely transformed my life. Crazy, 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 crazy experience. I highly recommend ayahuasca.
How do you experience that? Is it like you go in with an intention and then you get answers somehow by getting ideas, or like how can I imagine that?
I mean, it's a psychedelic drug. They call it plant-based medicine, right? But where I come from, it's a drug for sure. You're getting lit as balls. And I can't even explain it. It's not at all like acid because acid has a come down where you feel like you just got squeezed like a lemon. Ayahuasca is so pure and you wake up feeling amazing. I flew there from like I flew there from I was from Sweden. I flew to Costa Rica. So it was this crazy jet lag. I was so tired, but it just made me so clear and so focused. And I was every single day. It was insane. And I can't even explain how it was 10 steps ahead of me the whole time. I thought I knew what was going on, and it was doing stuff to me that I didn't realize was happening to me until like 2 days later, right? It was just, it's one of those things where it's like someone is so wise that they're so far ahead of you, and then you realize later back, wow, that guy he knew everything, and I wasn't even close to comprehending the answers. So that's how next level. It's just like, it's just someone that's 10 steps ahead of you and is standing behind you and you can't even see them. It's that they're that fucking clutch, is that they're standing behind you and you don't even know it. It's that kind of like Yoda level, wisdom. There's, yeah.
Yeah, a friend of mine told me like that it kind of gives you the ability to think about things that have happened in your life, and you can relive them, and you can somehow change them or interpret them in a new way and see those things from a different perspective, and then like go through some kind of emotional healing. I've also heard that some people actually heal. They are able to heal addictions by doing ayahuasca.
There's a lot of stuff. I mean, childhood is one of a huge thing. I was lucky enough to attend an event called the Hoffman Experience, where I got to heal all of my inner child challenges. So a lot of people at the ayahuasca ceremony was going through inner child drama, but I was lucky enough to have that stuff solved. So I was able to go deeper in a deeper way without having to get stuck on, what your dad did when you were 4, right? Stuff like that. But it is an incredible tool. That it's just such a Pandora's box. It's really quite. And the craziest part was I woke up the next day with the most insane experience, and everybody had the most insane experience. Everybody, like 50 people was in my group, and everyone I was talking to had their mind blown the night before by this ayahuasca stuff with the most life-changing experiences. So it was not me. The weirdest part about it was, when I got to the place on the first day, the group that was there before us, the week before, was leaving. And when we got there, I felt like I was entering a cult, because everybody was like smiling ear to ear, like as they were leaving their 7 days of ayahuasca. And I'm like, what the fuck? These are crazy people. Like, this is some weird, it's like a cult or something. I don't know what's going on. And then at the end of my day, I was getting ready to leave, and the new people were coming in, and I was the crazy person smiling ear to ear, because I had my breakthrough and everybody else had their breakthrough. So that was this weird experience from starting to leave it.
And did you communicate with the plant? Did it say something to you?
100%.
Or was it just?
Yeah, it was. So I call it God. Some people call it the universe, but it showed up for me as God in the form of a super hot babe. No, we had a conversation, right? It was a full-on talk. I'm asking you questions. Here you go. Like, I'm getting straight, easy answers. We're having a conversation. It is me sitting down with Yoda. It is, it's Harry Potter sitting down with Dumbledore. That's what it was like. It was like you sitting down with the person you've meant to, the greatest mentor of all time. It's kind of what it was like.
Mm-hmm. And would you share what kind of questions you asked?
Yeah. One of the main questions that you want to ask there is like, show me who I am at all costs, or something like that. It's like this reveal to you. It's kind of like peeling back the onion layers at all costs. And it started out weird. One of the weird parts was I asked this question. So I wrote this whole thing down in a 4-part blog series. And the first day I went looking for God, and I found her at the end of the day. And then the second day I went, I tried to take her on a date because she was a hot babe, but she turned me down. Okay. And then I ended up being like, okay, well, you're super fucking smart. Why don't you just teach me everything you know, and I'll work for you for free, because you're such a gangster. You've proven to me you're such a gangster. So I did this kind of deal with her, and she turned me into a wizard. Well, I was like, show me who I'm supposed to be, to be the best person myself I can be. And she's like, oh, you're a fucking manifesting wizard. So that's where I got a lot of my wizard vibes from. And then day 3, she taught me how to use my manifesting powers. And day 4, she sent me straight to hell.
Mm-hmm. And what did hell look like in that case?
Hell was it's my second craziest blog post. It's my second most popular blog post on my blog, because it was there was this dark. It was the last day, and there was this guy from new shaman from Colombia that came in with this dark ayahuasca called yahe. And it tasted like sludge when I drank it. Not like the nice stuff before. It tasted like sludge. And 50 people were in this place. And I didn't know it at the time. So I made the mistake of not showing up to the Oriental class because I was too busy writing my day 3 experience. And this yahe is no joke. And what it's about is taking the hell out of you and releasing it out of you. So it was the temple that I was in ended up being a room full of 50 people whose darkest, deepest nightmares were being unleashed out of their mouths. Whoa. For 8 hours. So I'm talking about like the most violent vomiting and screaming you've ever heard for 8 hours, and you're supposed to hold it to fucking together through all of this. One of the girls completely had a breakdown and thought that one of the shamans were going to try to kill her. They were like, really? She lost it. So she tried to book it out in the middle of the night. And of course, we're in the middle of the jungle in Costa Rica, right? They can't let her just go run off while she's on ayahuasca. And this is like a nice 5-star resort. So they end up having to hold her down, which just does not help her at all, because now she's screaming bloody murder. So it's just, the whole vibe was weird. I think they did this to us on purpose because there was no nice music. It was dead silent besides for violent explosions coming out of people's mouths of just vomit and just puking and moaning and screaming for like 8 hours. It's 8 hours of like going through this experience and like just keeping it all together. And you know, I viewed it as a sick wizard challenge. That's how I viewed it. It was like just going through this whole thing, but it was seriously insane. And the tension in the atmosphere felt like it was going to snap like a twig, because she was like, they're going to fucking kill us all. They're going to kill us all. Just you wait. Like, it was like, you know, very tense because anybody could have snapped, you know, or like, so I'm just waiting for someone to stand up and be like, well, it's not going to be me. And then just fucking smack somebody and just cause this huge breakout. I was looking over my shoulder at the window. I was like, I had an escape plan in case I needed to dive out. Even I was like questioning the intentions of these shamans, because I didn't show up to the orientation. So I thought these guys, they didn't turn the music on. They didn't give us any nice things. They have created this dark, just terrifying atmosphere just for the fucking hell of it, right? They're taking us to hell, and they know they're taking us to hell. They didn't let us know that they were going to hell. They told us it was going to be this nice little beautiful party on our last day, and it was that's not what it was.
And that was kind of like, that was the last day, and that was like your experience. And
that experience over, yeah. But it was crazy though, because that's how I viewed it. And I got out of this, I was like, wow, I can't wait to talk to everybody, because everybody must have had the worst moment of their life. Dude, people had the best moment of their life. I experienced it totally unlike what everyone else experienced. And people had these most insane, beautiful, blissful breakthroughs, and I could not comprehend. I was like, where the fuck were you during this whole thing? Because I was like, so I was writing everything down. I had this journal, and I was writing like a furious fucking madman, because I became this writer through ayahuasca too. So I was like, I'm like, this is so crazy. I'm going to fucking write down everything that's going on by hand, so these shamans can't get away with this crazy shit. So I was writing for 8 hours straight, recording everything that was going on to put in the blog post for day 4, because it was so crazy and there were so many tiny details I needed to capture. And so I didn't go as deep as anybody else, because I was still consciously like recording shit, you know? So I got a different experience than everybody else. I didn't like close my eyes and let myself go with the flow. I was like a fucking journalist.
Okay. A journalist writing a blog post. Yeah, I have a friend who told me that she has seen angels and demons. Like she told me that she would like be in a dark room, and all these dead people who passed away lined up and tried to talk to her and tried to, you know, get help to go from darkness into the light. And there were also demons with yellow eyes trying to scare her. And then she was like, oh, if you exist, if you devilish beings exist, then there also must be God. And then instantly she was in heaven, surrounded by angels, and hanging out in the universe and flying out in space.
Beautiful.
That was so amazing. Like it really makes me curious to try it. Would you recommend it to anyone?
I would totally recommend it. You know, I'm definitely on the woo-woo side. I definitely think that, you know, we have our reality right here, like our physical reality, but there's this other kind of spiritual reality that we have, and that's reality
Yeah.
with like a capital R. Like that's the real fucking reality,
Yeah.
and we're like put into this physical body. So ayahuasca is a chance to experience that, and I absolutely would have regretted doing 2 days in a row. We did 4 days in a row at a place called Rythmia, and that is the place to be. And I'm so glad I did 4 days because there is so much to go through. So much to go through.
Wow. That's scary. You do that 4 days in a row. Is that like, wow.
4 days in a row. I thought it was terrifying too, but when I was done, and I was like, dude, I'm so glad it was 4 days in a row because it was exactly what I needed it to be.
If you enjoyed this episode, hit the subscribe button and never miss an episode of Svencast again.